Here is, I think you sent this to me.
Yes, it is, Jordan. It is anti-Semitic. So.
Oh, okay.
But I guess like if you feel like you can use that, then go
I'm
for
a Jew,
it.
so I'll use it. Yesterday had 142,000 cases, another record. I think when we were in Philadelphia just a few days ago, it was like 100,000 was the record. Now we're at 142,000. Almost 70% increase compared to 2 weeks ago. If you look at the trend of basically this month so far, you see 76,000, 86,000, 91,000, 104,000, 121,000, 126,000, 125,000, 109,000, 133,000, 131,000, and 148,000 cases. It's out of control. Before we went live, you just told me that Chicago just issued a stay-at-home order.
Yeah.
Meanwhile, you saw this earlier. Meanwhile, Democratic Party, during a deadly pandemic, while all this is going on, Democratic Party tweets out this. You can't make this up. How wonderful I tweeted out in response to this, Jen. The Democrats tweeted out, Democrats will always fight for greater access to health care and to make it affordable and accessible for all. No one should ever have to make a difficult decision between putting food on the table and filling a prescription. So, really happy that the Democratic Party, during a deadly pandemic where the president is in fetal position doing nothing, and cases are skyrocketing to the point where we're probably going to have more stay-at-home orders. Hopefully, I've been saying we need one uniform stay-at-home order.
Yeah,
but
absolutely.
People are putting in the super chat, dark winter is coming. Well, it seems like Batman is not coming, if that makes sense. Get it? Dark winter, Batman?
Yeah. I think it's good. Obviously it's good. We need to have a shutdown. But it's not surprising, obviously, that the Democratic Party would put something out like that. It's despicable.
And the thing that's amazing to me about it is they're not in power right now. I mean, they will be, but Biden's not even in office yet. So they can be saying, we need to expand healthcare. They could be saying we should expand Medicare right now for everybody. And then when they get in office, of course, they'll just make excuses why they can't do it. But they're not even on messaging. They're not even on messaging saying, no, right now we need to toss everything out. Maybe we're not for Medicare for all in general, but right now we're headed towards, potentially, we could be heading towards 200,000 cases a day. We're on pace. We could be heading to 500,000 Americans dead by early next year. And, obviously Trump is the president. The buck stops with him. The Republicans are in control of the Senate. Trump has basically sidelined Fauci and experts. He has made masks into a culture war. But essentially, I haven't heard much from Biden. The only thing I'm hearing from Biden is coming from his coronavirus advisor, who's kind of suggested maybe we do some type of partial lockdown, but not like in an urgent manner. Like, he's not saying, Trump, what we need to do right now is lock down the country. He's basically saying we might do that. I mean, I don't think, every single day, I just showed you that list, we're going up like 15 to 20,000 cases, and most of the states aren't really doing that much different. What do you think in terms of, is there anything we could do, or we're kind of just at the mercy of a maniac in Trump who is more interested in his current grift and election fraud conspiracy versus the Democratic Party and Biden, who are tweeting out soliloquies about access to healthcare?
Well, so this is like a multifaceted thing, what you've just talked about. So on the one hand, we have Donald Trump, who, as you say, he's like a mixture of in fetal position or golfing, like planning his future media network, / maybe like some part of him does think that he can be a maniac and still maintain control. Depending on who's talked to him last, I think is probably what kind of mindset he's in. And it really is truly left up to the states, how they're handling this. And it really is still a partisan issue. And I'm lucky here in Maryland, Larry Hogan, even though he is a Republican and I don't agree with his policies, for the most part, he has handled COVID much better than his Republican compatriots, if that's the right word. This, Jordan, I was terrified. So my youngest son they haven't opened public schools yet, but they were about to, like it was imminent. And I had several conversations with Jordan. I was like, I am terrified. I don't know what to do. I don't think it's right to send my kid back to school. So I have to make the decision now to make my son really, really sad because he's freaking miserable talking to a computer for 7 hours a day. He's a good kid. He's doing his work. I'm lucky he's really intelligent and he doesn't have any behavioral issues. He can sit and do it, but he's freaking miserable. So I have to make the decision to pull him out of school and homeschool him or send him to school, which I don't agree with. But Hogan made the decision to they're canceling it. They're not going back to school. Actually, I don't even know if that was Hogan. It might have been my county. I don't know. So I don't have to make that choice, but I think we need a nationwide lockdown. Everything needs to be locked down. It's ridiculous. It's horrible. It makes my stomach just drop seeing that list from the early part of November to what it is now. And it's just going to get worse and worse because no one's taking action. And now we're in this position where we were in this sort of locked down situation. We all hated it. It sucked. It felt surreal and dystopian, where we would only go out to the grocery store. Everyone remember that. And then we slowly crept into, well, we would maybe go outside, and then it crept into more and more. So I think we need to pull back, go back to where we were. We're at phase 1 and pull way back. So now we have all of these people getting COVID. So let's hit up what the Democrats tweeted. We have all of these people getting sick. More people will get sick. We aren't even at the point, I think they say day 18 is really when people start to die. We aren't quite at that point yet. We haven't seen the deaths that are yet to come from this latest spike. We're going to see those deaths coming very, very soon. And here we have these disgusting Democrats tweeting about access to freaking healthcare. How do people not get it yet? How do people who praise the Democratic Party not get it that access to healthcare is not the same as having healthcare? People say it all the time. It's cliche by this point. I have access to a Lexus dealership. I have access to, I don't know, I have access to everything in the whole world, but I can't have it because I don't have the money. We've hit on this point too, Jordan's COVID test the other day, which we routinely, every time we have an infield reporting trip, we routinely get a COVID test just for safety reasons. And so we know that we aren't going to pass COVID along to our families. And his co-payment with health insurance was $100. So that's access to healthcare. That's access to a COVID test. But most families have less than $1,000 of savings in the bank. And I would venture to guess that that's way lower nowadays with COVID and people losing their jobs, and savings are dwindling. And I think, the Democrats are disgusting in a way that's different from the Republicans, because they put a smile and spray Febreze on something that's almost just as disgusting. And that's horrible.
I don't want to put words in your mouth, Jen, but I think we both agree we're not advocating for a lockdown without stimulus. No lockdown
right.
without stimulus. Mm-hmm. So somebody put in the chat, that's not viable. A lockdown is not viable. I would agree without UBI or the government covering payrolls. We can't do a lockdown if small business owners are going to be screwed, if gig workers would be screwed, the people that have been on unemployment, the people that have gone since July without that extra $600 a week. Everybody needs to be made whole, from the small business to gig workers to full-time workers. And we print money for war. We're headed to 20 years in Afghanistan. We print money so we can give tax cuts, deregulation, subsidies to the banks, fossil big pharma, big real estate, Silicon Valley, military industrial complex, so we could print money for a few months and give it to the people for a change. So we're not talking about a lockdown without people having their normal pay coming in. But for the people saying this isn't viable, well, what is the alternative? What to you is the alternative? Just to have this runaway train of death every single day? The vaccine, if we are lucky, the vaccine will start being distributed maybe by the end of the year to the frontline workers, like healthcare workers, which it should go to them first. Then seniors should go to them. The masses are not going to get it, if we're lucky, till spring. And that's before we get into the shenanigans, because if anybody thinks this vaccine is going to be completely free, I remind you, we live in the United Corporations of America. Nothing is free. So, I don't know what to say. I think that when people say it's not viable to have a lockdown, then you're basically saying it's viable and okay and just what we have to do just to let, and by the way, the cases and death count, they lag. So the cases right now are skyrocketing every day, but the deaths usually lag about a week to 2 weeks after the case spike. So you're going to start to see a massive death increase. We are going to get to the point we were at in March and April, where 2,000 people are dying a day. It might surpass that, and I get it. I mean, I don't want to be, in my home all day. Nobody does. I understand that there are other things, anxiety, depression, domestic abuse that's gone on. But again, this is a out of control virus. And by the way, from Marco Rubio's event yesterday inside in Georgia, where half the people weren't wearing masks, to I think they're calling it the Million MAGA March this weekend.
Oh, yeah.
Which we might be covering in D.C., where I got news for you, most of them aren't going to be wearing masks. I mean, what's the alternative?
Hope you enjoyed that last video. Hop on over to statuscoup.com, where you can sign up for our email list and become a member for as low as $5 to $10 a month. Membership is how we grow. That's statuscoup.com/join. And remember, join our email list so we can grow the revolution with you.